Long before the Hollywood craze to produce legacy sequels, popular 80s movies that struggled to make it to the big screen found a roundabout way of continuing their stories through video games. Next-gen console hits like 2009's Ghostbusters. The video game lifted ideas from unproduced sequel scripts, while 2006's Scarface, The World Is Yours, and 2023's RoboCop, Rogue City served as what-if follow-ups to their cinematic predecessors. But predating all these titles was Nintendo's strange 1987 side-scroller sequel to Richard Donner's The Goonies. The incredibly popular kids' adventure classic from 1985 captured a special moment in time for its young cast, launching the careers of Sean Astin and Josh Brolin while inspiring generations of moviegoers. For decades, director Donner, producer Steven Spielberg, and screenwriter Chris Columbus struggled to crack a worthy story to reunite the 7 mischievous kids from the Goondocks, following their extraordinary search for One-Eyed Willie's pirate treasure to save their town. Though efforts to continue the Goonies story often stalled in Hollywood, that didn't stop the top-selling game console of the late 80s from making their version of the Goonies 2. Goonies the Sun was actually a sequel to the Goonies. Video game released only in Japan, like many 80s blockbusters ranging from Star Wars to Batman, the Goonies was not immune to the 8-bit video game craze. Gaming developer Konami produced a Goonies platform game in 1986, released exclusively in Japan for the Nintendo Famicom. Taking cues from Atari's Pitfall and Konami's Castlevania series, the side-scroller roughly stayed true to the movie by having players take control of a character resembling Mikey Walsh and playing multiple levels, from the abandoned restaurant to One-Eyed Willie's ship, the Inferno. It only deviates from the movie with the player using slingshots, bombs, and kicking abilities to thwart the Fratelli brothers and all the booby traps while seeking keys to rescue each Goonie. Though the game never got released on the Nintendo Entertainment System in North America, it managed to make it west through Nintendo's VS system in the arcades. In 1987, Konami produced and released The Goonies 2 in the US for the NES. Despite no movie tie-in to go along with it, the game was essentially a standalone tale using the Goonies license. None of the movie's creators were involved in the making of the game, so it played as a direct sequel to the 1986 Famicom release by carrying over identical gaming features. But the fact that it made it to the NES in America and not the original proved to be confusing from a marketing standpoint. Ironically, the developer took a similar direction with Top Gun by producing a sequel game titled The Second Mission nearly 30 years before Tom Cruise made it happen for real. Though The Goonies the 2 retained elements of the movie, such as navigating through caverns, avoiding ancient booby traps, and the endless loop of Cyndi Lauper's unforgettable theme song, the game went in a wildly different direction from the original. This time, Ma Fratelli and her sons Jake and Francis are now joined by an original character named Cousin Pipsqueak. They escape jail following the events of the movie to kidnap 6 of the 7 Goonies and bring them to their hideout. With Mikey on his own, like in the first game, the player has to navigate underground passages and hidden rooms, as well as find magic implements like hyper shoes and data-like jumping shoes to aid him on his quest. Goonies 2 goes even further. To distinguish itself from its cinematic counterpart, Konami could not help itself from shameless self-promotion by adding their superhero mascot Konami Man as a hidden character to give Mikey extra health. Even more bizarre is the addition of Mikey's love interest, Annie the Mermaid. As a subtle nod to another 80s hit, Splash, Mikey's primary mission once his friends are freed is to obtain pieces of a scuba suit, which sets the stage for the game's underwater finale within the sea caverns, where Annie is trapped in a cell. Despite the nods to the movie, memorable characters, and the Cyndi Lauper theme, The Goonies 2 works best as a standalone game without the title, rather than being a worthy sequel. In an ideal world, a true-to-form Goonies game would make all the characters playable and maintain their distinct traits, whether it's Brand's athleticism or Data's homemade gadgets. In later years, game developer Sloth Team made a Goonies remake video game in the style of the Nintendo version, with closer accuracy to the movie and making each Goonie member playable. Though Nintendo's Goonies 2 did not inspire Warner Bros. To make a sequel in 1987, it served well as a fun filler for something so difficult to recapture due to the passing of time as well as the advanced ages of the cast.